Hello and welcome to our advanced feature demo. Today's demo is over generating a referral letter as well as our carbon copy feature. These advanced feature demos will be held periodically on a live WebEx that you can join us live so you can ask questions at the end, or you can just tune in on our UTP intranet on the EHR website where we'll post the recorded video. Today, these are our objectives for referral letter and consult letter. So first, we'll generate a referral or consult letter, depending on the note you have. We will select appropriate recipients for that carbon copy. We'll verify that the carbon copy was transmitted. We'll also complete the carbon copy related tasks, and then we'll auto carbon copy. Well, I'll give you an example of an auto carbon copy setup, which is ultimately what we want everybody to do. All right, let's jump into the EHR here. So I have open just a regular family medicine established, or new patient note, I should say. On the left-hand side, you see that we have our table of contents, and in a normal scenario, of course, you'd work through each one of those necessary note sections, filling them out. But we're going to bring our attention down here to the output templates. You see that the new patient's output template is a defaulted click. That's what we're going to be creating here. But what we want to create in our example for today is a referral letter. So I'm going to check that checkbox. That ensures that any connected note sections that I fill out here that have been tied to that referral letter will be created and will be in the chart. Some of those note sections that will go into that referral letter are things like letter greeting here. So I'll fill out the referral greeting available to me. I'm going to say that Dr. Smart. Actually, I can just put in Smart, I think, and then it fills it out for me. And then I can click on referral, and it fills out the text here at the bottom in the accumulator. That's the text that's going to appear in that output. Also, you may have something in your letter closing available to you as well for your referral letters. Now, in order to carbon copy, you're going to have to make sure that you save your document. So you won't be able to carbon copy unless the document has been saved in the chart. So at the very least, I'm going to click on Save here. So now that referral letter already appears. It's unsigned, but it is saved in the chart. It exists in the chart and needs to be invalidated to be deleted. Now, I'm going to draw your attention here to this carbon copy button, which is in this carbon copy column you see. If I click on that, I get a carbon copy dialog. Make it a little bigger. On the left-hand side, it's going to identify the output template that you're going to be carbon copying. And below that, you'll see a list of selected recipients. On the right-hand side, you have all of your recipient options. So you have a tab that says likely recipients. These that are appearing here are default that were set on the back end for this note type, and you can choose either one of those if you'd like. If we set it up for you to default some other likely recipients, we can do that, like referring provider and such. Patient care team, any provider that appears in that patient care team and that's within the blue eye will also appear here, and you can CC them as well. When I select on a recipient, you'll see that it gets moved over to my list of recipients on the left-hand side. If I don't have a recipient or don't see a recipient here that I want to carbon copy, I can always use the manual tab, and you can type in the name of the provider you'd like to carbon copy. So for instance, I'll say Dr. Smart and hit enter. This is going to search our referring provider dictionary as well as any UTP or Allscripts provider that's in the dictionary for that's using the EHR. I'll give you a hint. Those that end in UT are UT providers here. You can select on that, of course, and it's going to put the name over on the left-hand side as a recipient. I want to bring your attention to this little tag here at the end of the provider's name. This one says review tasks. So that should be the expected communication method for any internal provider. So Dr. Sean Smart is a UT provider that uses Allscripts, so we just want to send him a review task, and that's how he's going to get this CC. Now, if it was an external provider, say, let's do Danny here. Yeah, Danny Smart is an external provider. He's not a UT provider. You see that it says next to his name, fax. And that is going to do just that. So when I do sign this, it's going to fax this to the number that's on file. You notice that this Dr. Smart Simon I selected earlier has a different communication method. You see that says distribute document to recipient. Now that means a few things. It means that we either don't have a fax number on file, or we may have not set up the provider correctly on the back end. However, this is not a desired communication method. Anytime you see this, you can alert your CURE member or send an email to UTP Allscripts support, and we'll get that provider set up correctly. Most cases, it's just that we're missing a fax number for them. Okay? If you want to remove any one of these providers, you can just uncheck, and I'll uncheck the one that's going to be the document to recipient, and you see that it marks through the name for that recipient. I'll do the same thing with Dr. Ayinka. There's another button at the bottom here that is called ad hoc. We advise against this, using this, because this is a one-time feature where you can enter the name of a provider and then maybe enter their fax number as well, and for this one time it will CC and send that fax over to that provider. It's not going to save it as a likely recipient. It's not going to save it into the patient care team, and those are places we would rather have these type of providers. So keep that in mind when using this. It's not desired. It's not a recommended workflow. If you have a referring provider that you're going to be using frequently, we would encourage that you let your Allscripts team know, and we'll get them entered into the referring dictionary. Okay? All right, I'm going to click on OK, and now I have some CC recipients selected. After I complete my note and I'm ready to sign it, I'll click on the Sign button here. You're going to see that at the bottom of this note signature dialog, you have any of those providers that you have selected as recipients. Okay. I'll press OK on that. Now I've signed my note, and now let's take a look at confirming that that CC has gone through. So I know I sent a fax to Danny Smart, so I can go to what's called my print queue, and in admin here, I click on print queue, and you should see that a fax is either going out. I'm in my training environment, so that's why it says idle, but it should be, you should see a completed fax job or a fax job that's working. If you want to double check and make sure that that review task went out to Dr. Smart, that's an internal provider, you can always go to your task list here, update your view to current patient active, which is just all of the active tasks for the patient in context. I'm going to sort this by date here, so I bring up today's, and you see there's my review note task. So that went out to Dr. Smart. He sees that on his My Active task. Okay. The last place you can verify who you actually CC'd is within the chart. So I'm going to go down and try to find my referral letter that I created today. Here it is here. You should see at the top of the note viewer those individuals that you CC'd. Okay? All right, so that's the manual way of carbon copying another provider. There's one other way to do so, and this is the desired way for the organization. We just need to get with us to set it up. But let's say now the patient is going to be seen in neurology with Dr. Smart. I'm going to pretend I'm Dr. Smart. I'll start a new note here, and we'll make it a neurology note. We'll do a new patient note. All right. Now again, you would work through all of the note sections that you desire. In this case, they also have a referral letter output here at the bottom. So to create that, I just click on the checkbox to make sure that it's created. They have a letter greeting here for referral or consult. They both go into that document type. I'll click on the consult option. They may have a letter closing. Yep, they sure do. They have a letter closing note form as well. So I'll click on consult for that to put that little text in there. Okay, now let's just say that I have completed seeing the patient. I need to save the document at some point in making my note, but then when I sign it, you will see the recipient appear automatically in the note signature dialog. And that is because we have set this note up on the back end to carbon copy the referring provider if there is one listed in the patient profile or the patient care team. We can do that for the patient care team, and we can also CC the referring provider on the appointment for the day. So if this patient was coming in, and as long as the referring provider was identified on the appointment, we can also set it up so where it automatically CCs that provider as well. Other roles that are available to us are things like PCP, of course, referring provider, a consulting provider, and such. Okay. All right, so let's go back to our PowerPoint here. Things to remember. So communication methods that you're going to see, if it's an internal provider, it's going to be a review task communication method. If it's an external provider, you'll see fax. You're going to want to contact your EHR team if you see this nasty distribute document to recipient. That's just going to send out a task asking somebody to distribute the document to the recipient. In other words, print it out and give it to that provider somehow. And again, we don't want to see that, so just get with your EHR team and we will get that fixed for you. Also, you want to remember that the output must be saved before you carbon copy. That's the only way that button is going to become available to you. You may click on it and it may do nothing. That's an indication that it's probably not saved yet. And then just remember that we can auto carbon copy. So instead of manually doing it yourself, and you may have to do that every now and then, we would like for everybody to just have all their notes set up to carbon copy those frequent recipients, frequently used recipients. All right, things to think about. Is your clinic's visit notes set up for auto carbon copy? If it isn't, then of course get with our EHR team. Also, do you need a referral consult letter output? You may not even have a referral letter or consult letter in your note. If that's something that you guys desire and maybe something you're doing on paper currently, please get with the Allscripts team and we'll get one built for you. Also, you want to think about ways your clinic can do better with including the referring provider on appointments. So if you guys aren't currently putting referring providers on appointments, then that's going to be a gap for AutoCC. You want to make sure that you include the referring provider on the appointment every time. How can you incorporate adding referring providers to the patient profile? That may be something you want to think about as well. So in the case that it's not on the appointment, perhaps they have a referring provider that's in the patient profile, and maybe that's something you want to capture at your front desk on every visit. Okay? Now, if you have any questions about this or anything else Allscripts related, of course, you can always submit a heat ticket if you're having an issue, or you can call the help desk and then choose the Allscripts option in the phone tree, or you can always email UTP Allscripts support at uth.tmc.edu. We'd love to hear from you. My name is Onami Makura. I'm one of the senior analysts with the EHR team. It's been great. Hopefully I'll hear from you soon.